Hi, my name is Jeff, and welcome back to my workshop, or my temporary workshop, as I'm still in the rehab center as I start this. Stay tuned for an channel update in the middle of this video as to what's going on. But we are installing starting with the side grills on here. The model came with two different styles, a louver style and more modern style that I chose to go with. And these are the ones I went with. More of a vent style. To install these, I decided to use canopy glue because this is an etched metal part. Canopy glue gives me a little more working time than CA, and I don't have to worry about sticking parts to my fingers with it. I'm not a big fan of CA, so this also gives me the flexibility that if I have to remove them or replace them at some point in the future, I can remove them and do that. CA would be a more permanent attachment. So I'm just running a small thin bead of the canopy glue. You could also use like an Eileen's tacky glue. You probably could even get away with like an Elmer's glue to do this. Any of those PVA style glues would work. But as you can see, I'm just running that bead along the outside edges of it, and then I can just set the whole thing in place on the side of the engine. And sometimes you do need to add a little more glue to your pile when you're doing that. I'm taking time here to try and keep it out of the vent openings, but if they do end up in there a little bit, it's okay, it'll dry clear. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. As you can see, I am back home. So we will finish up today's project here at the home workshop. But I did want to take a minute to first thank all of you who have commented and wished me well while I went through all this, and really thank those who helped support myself and my family through this tough time with your contributions to our GoFundMe page. There really is still a link down in the description. We appreciate all the help. Thanks to your help, we were able to make our mortgage payments and our car loan payments, so we've been able to stay close to current on those, and we have not had to worry about losing our home or our car. So thank you all for your generosity. I want to give a minute to explain a little bit about what has been going on with me. Back at the end of March, I was diagnosed with an infection in my back between a couple of the vertebrae. Technically it's called the T8 and T9 vertebrae, which is about the center of the back, right near the base of the rib cage. That infection caused a fracture to one of the vertebrae, which, as you can imagine, creates a lot of pain. I was in and out of the hospital the first time around. I did a total of 12 weeks of antibiotics. I was off of them for a week, and then the infection came back with a vengeance, which is what this last bout was about. During that process, I lost muscle control in my primarily left knee, and because I spent so much time in bed, a lot of muscle strength in there. So I spent the last 5 weeks at a wonderful rehab facility not far from me in Deerfield, Illinois, called Whitehall. They were fantastic. They allowed me to work on my models when I wasn't in physical therapy or occupational therapy. They worked me hard, as you can imagine, but within 5 weeks I was going from barely able to stand without somebody helping me stand up and keeping a close eye on me to being able to climb stairs and walk and function so that I could come home. It has been one of the toughest physical tests I've had, but I made it through it. I'm home. I don't plan on going back. I don't plan on a recurrence, but God willing, it won't happen again. But I did want to give you all an explanation, and now let's get back to work on these F units. Thank you for watching, and please, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos. If there are projects you'd like me to see me do, please let me know in the comments below. Coming up, I have a caboose, undecorated caboose that needs to be repainting, and similar to these F7s, I've got a A/B set of F3s that are undecorated that will get painted for the Arlington Heights Society of Model Engineers' other railroad, the Arlington Valley. So stay tuned for those. I'm not sure what order I'm going to be doing them in. I also have some reefers and some other car kits, and there may be a building or two thrown in there sometime in the future. Okay, so with those installed, we're going to work on the window glazing next and the number boards. And I'm using the number boards with that because they were clear plastic parts, so they're going to install in a similar manner. As you can see, I got the B units, just had the 3 portholes on the side, so I did those already. Same technique as I'm using here. So I'm going to start with the number boards. These, you'll recall, I did it short on putting the numbers on. Those are just decals. I had painted these black before I realized that the engine actually has lights behind it. If I had realized that, I probably would have used a decal that was a black background with a clear number, or just black numbers on the clear plastic. So the lesson there is take a close look at your chassis before you make your decide on your decaling solution for your number boards. I'm just putting again a little bit of canopy glue in the openings where the number boards sit, and then using my tweezers and making sure it's facing the correct way and not upside down. I can set that into place and just use my fingers to help guide it in a little bit. And get it pressed into place so that the numbers hold. And make sure they're both lined and in. If I need to, I can use my tweezers to kind of push out on it a little bit to readjust it. That's the nice thing about the canopy glue. It does take, it'll grab fairly quickly, but it still gives you some work time. With that done, we'll move on to the side windows. So for these, I just put a little bit of glue around the edge of the window glazing, because this sits into the opening. I did test fit it before I started applying the glue. I also did a little bit of filing on the window frame just to make sure to get off some excess paint that had built up in there so that it fit properly, and then just pop the window glazing in. Same thing for the head lenses or the windshields. These I actually put the glue in the opening. I felt that would be easier because it was a smaller piece and there wasn't a lip to run the glue on the glazing. Again, if there's a little ooze out, it's not going to be noticed on the finished model because the canopy glue dries clear. You could use CA or even plastic solvent cement, but I find that they tend to attack the clear plastic and mar the finish. That's why I like using canopy glue. Okay, with the windows all installed, we're going to need to do the headlights. We got those in place. Again, just a little bit of glue in here. By the way, that canopy glue you can also actually use and fill that whole opening to create a lens out of the glue if you don't have plastic pieces to put in there. But in this case, I am. The headlight came in from the front, the top headlight, the bottom looked like it fit in better from the rear. So it looks like it sits back a little bit, which kind of gives it an interesting effect. And get those into place, glued in place and held in. I'm just making sure I have enough glue on the edge of the model so that I can get that piece, that headlight lens glued in position and locked down. And also have a rear door portal window. It's glued in the same way. This one you need to kind of use the tweezers to help guide it in, just because it's recessed into the door. If I had painted the door in advance, I could have installed this before installing the door. Lesson learned for the next time. And just making sure it's pressed into place using the back of my tweezers. Next thing we're going to do is the portals. These come in a piece with two window portals on it. One piece to handle each side. So just adding some styrene cement to the parts that will attach to the side of the locomotive. Keeping it away from the portion that actually sits in the porthole window, and that way you don't get any push through on the glue. Once that's done, and just set it into place, push it down, and let the glue dry. Thanks to the beauty of editing, you don't get to sit around with me watching the glue dry, but I do give it the time to let that dry between steps. This model also came with a amber lens that could have been used in the lower headlight lens if a prototype you're modeling needs that. So with the windows installed, we are complete with this model. Stay tuned. Next episode we'll be installing decoders and couplers, and then we'll just have some weathering to do. We may do that as well. Thank you for watching.